Hey guys, got a video here for Tears of Avia. For this one, I'm going to show you how to do the final boss solo. This is on hardcore, everything has more HP, does more damage, etc, etc. So on standard it'll be even easier. This is done on hardcore. Character to use, I used Momoya. This is a priest. You can use any of the priests, they have the same skills. But the reason the priest is good is because they can do a couple different things. They can heal, they can do damage, they can also cure conditions. So basically they do everything you would need. So for the skills, I took Ritual Protection. It reduces incoming damage, but the main thing is it reduces condition damage. That's the main thing you're going to have to be worried about, is the conditions killing you. So that's why you have that. You also going to want heal, the basic heal, the one that has 0 turns once you have it to level 5, so that way you can use it every turn you need it. And then you want Ritual of Thunder and Ritual of Ice. Basically, it's just 2 skills to do damage. That's what they're there for. And then Cleansing Ritual up to level 5, which cures the condition, and then it heals you if you have a condition. So, on turns where your health's kind of low, you can just use this to get rid of the condition and heal yourself. For the weapon skill, I have, a staff that does the little firestorm thing. Make sure you have that. The main reason is that it gives you just another ability to do damage with. So that way, not that it's really a big deal, but just so you have it just in case. Once you're ready, I should probably show the stats. So for the stats, she has 43,000 HP, 35,000 intelligence, and then she has 14,000 defense and 11,000 magic resistance. Those stats don't really make the biggest deals, honestly. The boss will still do a ton of damage, but since you have 43,000 HP, it's not really a big deal. He does about 20,000. So I'd make sure to just stack HP and then any intelligence, and then you probably want to have maybe a little defense or magic resistance, but it's not a big deal. Just stack HP and intelligence, and then whatever else you get, that's fine. So once you have the skills set up and then the equipment, then you're ready to go. Do the last stage. It's called Source of Sorrow. So something to note about this stage is that it has 4 pillars or obelisks or whatever they're called. One of them is reflect damage. What that means is that when you attack an enemy and do damage, part of it is reflected at you. Now it's capped at 50% of your health per turn, so you can't hit some enemies and instantly kill yourself, but you can take a huge chunk of damage. So that's really the main thing you have to be worried about in this fight, is the reflect damage. Basically, the start of the fight is just you going to the reflect damage obelisk without doing anything, so that way you can get rid of it. So we'll go to that, take the reflect pillar, and then after we take that, then we can kill the actual enemies, and then we'll take the other pillars, and then we'll deal with the boss. So I'm going to start first turn, moving towards the reflect damage obelisk, or pillar I guess we'll call it, because that's easier. And then we'll go to the other ones then. Also the reflect damage one is this one right here. So you can see there's a bunch of enemies in the way, which is why it's important to have a ton of HP, so that way you can take a couple hits and you won't die. Because like I said, like you can see, I can just aggregate a ton of enemies. And then some of them will put status effects on you, so that's why you want to make sure that you have this cleanse, and then you have a heal. And then if you feeling brave, then you can kill some of the enemies on the way and just heal yourself next turn. But it's just not a risk you want to take on hardcore, honestly. On standard, obviously you can get away with it, because if you die, then it's not a big deal. But not really a chance to take on hardcore. There's enough things in this game that'll mess you up on hardcore. No reason to add more. If you can find a good weapon that has a move on it, that would make this a lot easier. But the problem is finding a weapon that has a bunch of HP and has move and has intelligence. The move's already super rare stat, it seems like, compared to everything else. And most of the equipment that I see that has it is actually in the shop. And it's hard to find stuff in the shop that has good stats. So I want, it's nice if you have it, but it's not absolutely required. You'll see in this case I don't take much condition damage, so it's not a big deal, but I can't figure out how condition damage works. It just, sometimes it'll do half of my character's HP and half it just doesn't do anything at all. You'll see in this case I got freeze on this turn, so that's a really big deal with to have the cleanse on it. It's because obviously if you're frozen then you can't move. And then sometimes it won't even close or cleanse frozen, so you're still in trouble. If that happens, not really anything you can do. Just wait it out, use heal as needed, and then once you can get rid of it, then you just keep moving. Yeah, you can see why it's so important to be tanky. I've got so many enemies attacking me right now, but as long as you can heal yourself and be tanky, then you don't have to worry about it. So once we get this reflect obelisk taken down, then we're going to wipe out all the enemies. I mean, so I just mentioned this earlier, but do not do any damage whatsoever to the boss. Because once you take the boss down to half health, then his next form shows up, and that makes the stage much, much more complicated. I'll talk a little more about the mechanics, even though they won't matter in this case, but I'll talk about it more when we get there. So we take the obelisk, and then we can start killing enemies. So we'll I want to hit the boss. Since I can just, don't have to worry about the conditions because I have I don't apparently take a lot of health. I know I've literally had half my health taken away from poison on sometimes, so I don't know why it randomly does it. Maybe there's some stat that stops it, I don't know. But anyway, you just take the obelisk and then you just kill the enemies. If you get low health, then heal up. But it's at this point, once you get rid of the reflect, it's so simple, because the enemies just do not do enough damage to you to actually kill you remotely quickly, and then amusingly enough, it'll actually do reflect damage to everything. So the boss will actually slowly wear himself down on you, so you want to be careful of that, but he shouldn't do it fast enough that you actually have to worry about about him going to the next phase. And I'm frozen, so try and cleanse it. You don't have an attack. Waiting for him to cool down. And then the thing that when I first did this, I was an idiot and didn't take I just took the reflect obelisk and the damage obelisk and then just went to the boss. Don't do that. The defense ones are really nice, or the defense one is nice, and there's also a condition cleanse, although that won't matter after you kill everything. But it's nice to have it, I guess. But once you get all the enemies killed except for the boss, then you just want to move down to, I guess I should have gone to the damage obelisk now that I think of it, but you want to take the other 3 obelisks, so that way you have all the boosts. And then you'll go over to where the second form of the boss is, and do the boss here. Definitely wish I had a weapon that had move on it. But as for the boss, I guess I should be talking about the boss now, shouldn't I? So the second form of the boss, he has a couple different attacks. The first one is just an arm swipe. And the thing that I noticed is that the actual hitbox of the attack doesn't actually match up with the hitbox of the actual hand. So you can actually stand in where his arm, quote unquote, hits you, but the actual hitbox doesn't. So that means you can dodge one of his attacks without actually doing anything. It's kind of funny. I don't know why it works like that. You can actually see the squares of the hitbox, kind of glow as his arm moves around. It doesn't match the arm at all. I don't know why it works like that, but it makes this easier, so we'll take it. Then he has another attack. It's like a lightning attack. You'll see these red circles appear around the character that he cast it on, and then after 2 turns, then it'll hit you with the lightning. And it does a ton of damage. So that's like I said, it's only like every other turn that you'll be attacked, because the arm swipe will miss, and then the lightning will hit, and then the arm swipe will miss, so you have plenty of time to heal. First time I did this, I didn't realize that the arm swipe AoE wasn't quite the same, so I sat there trying to damage him, but every turn he would take almost half my health and I'd have to heal, and it was just a constant struggle. But thankfully, once I found out the hitbox doesn't quite match up, made it simple. But anyway, now that we got all 4 of the obelisks, we want to move over to where the boss is going to spawn, the second form, which is over here to the left. There's a couple more enemies, so make sure you kill those 2, just so they don't get in the way. Because last thing you need is more problems. And also something that won't show up here, because he doesn't seem to do it when you only have 1 character, but he teleports, in the second form he'll teleport one of your characters to one of these arenas out here, where they'll face an enemy by themselves, and you'll have to kill the enemy for that character to come back. He never did it when I did it solo, so it's apparently a, only for when you have multiple characters, so it's not something you have to worry about solo, but something to keep in mind when you're the first time you're doing this, I guess, or if you're doing it on hardcore and you're worried. But that's all the mechanics I've seen from this fight. I haven't seen anything else. So just the lightning attack, the arm swipe, and then the teleporting people. Point you want to be at is right about, I think, 1 more square to the left, if I remember right. I want to pass a couple turns just to make sure I have all my skills, and then we'll do the boss here. And then 1 square, I think it's 1 more square left. I'll have to see when it actually starts. But once you're ready, you move to the far away, and then hit the boss with enough damage to put him to half health, which is 100,000 HP on hardcore, and then he'll summon his final form. And then depending on how much damage you have, if you have my stats, then you'll be able to kill him with 2 spells, which actually means you won't have to worry. Well, you might get hit by the lightning once, but you won't have to worry about it. I think I'll start with an arm swipe. Yeah, so you see how his hand goes through me, but it doesn't actually do damage. So I don't know why, but whatever, we'll take it. So if you go all the way to here, you can see the skill is highlighting him, so it'll hit him. So we hit him with that, and then we pass our turn, and then he'll use his lightning. Yeah, 24,000. So I literally have like 13,000 resist or something, and it still does an incredible amount of damage for some reason. More than half my health. I don't know why. Defense, I had 14,000 defense or whatever, and it still does 24,000. So I have no clue how you're supposed to reduce the damage of it. That's why I was getting stuck, because I was healing after arm swipe, and then lightning would take me down. I'd heal after that, and I just keep doing the cycle. But since you don't have to deal with the arm swipe, you can just kill him in 2 turns. So on your next turn, you use another attack, one of your AoE attacks, and then he dies. And that's how you do it solo. Something to note is that doing the Apex of Eternity boss solo, the achievements do not stack between hardcore and standard, so you have to do 2 playthroughs. But for the final boss fight, this one, and then the achievement for doing all the battle objectives, both of those do stack. So if you do this, then you'll get both achievements for doing the final boss on hardcore and standard. And if you've done all the other objectives and you do the 3 on this one, then you'll get the both objective achievements. But anyway, that's it for the video. Thanks for watching.